Hey guys, welcome back to Dennis on a Dime. Today we got all of our information together. We went over the 50, 30, 20 budget. And today we're going to be actually building your budget. So you pulled out your bank statements, you have your pay stubs, you have everything you need to really get into the budget, which is what we're planning on going over today. Now, one of the things that I do utilize is NerdWallet. They have an absolute amazing monthly budget worksheet, a calculator that does break it down in the 50, 30, 20. I really find it as a useful tool, super effective when it comes to budgeting exactly what you're going to spend. So let's go ahead and look at the worksheet. All right, guys, so here is the monthly budget worksheet. Now, again, this is available over on NerdWallet, one of the sites that I use for a lot of my financial information. So you can see, check all that apply. You can really break it down into what you are currently. Right now, I am a parent and I am a homeowner. That is exactly where I am in life. So total monthly income. Now, in this portion, we're just going to go ahead and use kind of made up numbers. So we're going to say, let's say 4,000 a month. Now that is after tax, guys. You have to realize this is not gross income, but this is actually the take home income. Let's say we have a little side job like YouTube that we make $500 a month. There's no alimony, child support. We do not own any rental properties. So in its entirety, you know what, let's say we make a little more. So in entirety, we say we got 5,000 a month. So that is what we are working with, guys. Monthly income, 4,000 again, after taxes, after health insurance coming out, after 401k contributions, after everything's said and done, the 5,000 in total is the take home that we have. So now we break into the expenses. Now this is where, again, the 50, 30, 20 rule will come in, really breaking these down into realistic expectations or realistic views of what you do have going on. Also looking at all of the bills that you have that you set aside. Again, looking at monthly statements, things of that nature. And we're going to break it down on a monthly basis. So for instance, let's say our rent is $1,000 a month. That is going to be the monthly breakdown that we have. Now, if your rent does not include your property taxes, you might have a property tax bill. Now, if the property tax bill is, let's say, theoretically $5,000, that is going to have to be broken down on the monthly basis, so you can figure out exactly how much you do have to set aside every single month for your property taxes if they are not included in your mortgage. Now, if we don't have a mortgage, we could always have renters, homeowners insurance. This could be rent. So let's say rent is $850 a month. Property bills we do not pay. Health insurance premiums, you could pay them out of pocket. You could also go ahead, and most employers will have them included with a benefit package. Now, one of the things that I want to stress kind of at this point that we're looking at the expenses is if you are carrying debt. That is really one of the big thing, guys, is if you're carrying debt, some of the life insurance premiums, possibly some of the investment accounts, the 401k planning, things of that nature can come at a later time, because the first thing we do want when we're consolidating debt is really paying down the debt. That is really one of the biggest goals. So let's say, just to keep it basic, down here we have groceries. And again, we tally up our entire month of spending on the groceries. We spend $400 for the groceries. Water bill, let's say it's about $100 a month. Again, just kind of using generic kind of roundabout numbers. Out-of-pocket medical expenses, again, we can go about 100. Insurance premiums, here in Michigan where I am, it's probably around $250. I would say around $250 for 2 cars for auto insurance premium. Homeowners insurance, again, if that is not included with your mortgage payment, if you have a mortgage payment or if you have renter's insurance, making sure that you do include that in here. Utility and natural gas bills, a lot of that is covered if you have an apartment. If you do have a home, that runs probably about $200 again a month. It is going to vary greatly, very, very dependent on where you live. So that's going to be the big thing. Sanitation, we actually pay $35 a month. Car payment, this is a big one, guys. Most car payments run about $300 to $400 a month, which to me is astronomical. If you have, you and your spouse, if you're paying, $600, $700, $800 a month for cars, that's a lot. That is an incredible hit to the budget for the car payments. And then, of course, we do have the auto insurance. So we're paying, just looking again at the scenario, $1,050 per month just to have 2 vehicles. Now, car maintenance and repair. This is something that a lot of people do not include, that I feel is kind of overlooked. So what happens eventually is cars do get a little bit older. If you're not leasing them, if you do own them, there's going to be maintenance, whether it is tires, whether it is, windshield washer or windshield wipers, whether it is new brakes. If you own the car, there is going to be the maintenance and repair aspect. If you do lease, you're not going to have that additional cost. Gasoline, now this is incredibly volatile right now. We're looking at about $5 in gas. Lucky that it's pretty limited to where that I drive. But overall gas, I would honestly say about $200 a month right now, which again, looking at the prices, it is absolutely astronomical. Bill, whether it's AT&T, whether it's Verizon for a phone bill, about $150 to $200 a month. Internet bill runs another $100. And you can see exactly how this adds up, guys, which is absolutely kind of crazy with where does your money go? So that is why I love this. So child support, alimony, we do not have. Student loan payments, luckily, we do not have. Diapers, tuition, education. We do have daycare costs, however, which is $400. That is right. When you have children, you have to pay for a daycare if you are not staying at home to watch them. Now, minimum loan payments. Now, this is an interesting one. This can be comprised of minimum credit card payments, minimum loan payments, anything that you have kind of open lines of credit, things that you pay on a monthly basis. We can go ahead and add them in here. So let's say in total, we pay $250 a month. And again, I don't think that's really too over the top. Even student loans, I personally do not have any student loan debt, but normally it's about 100, 200, maybe let's go with 150 for our student loan payment. So bottles, school supplies, tuition, education, if you are in school, homeowners association fee, $365. And there we go, guys. So total spent on necessities. That is right, guys. Total spent on necessities, $43.50. Let's go back to the beginning. That's right. We only made $5,000. That is where we're at currently. So you can see, guys, when it comes to expenses, even coming back a little bit further down, now we start getting into wants. This is the point where a lot of people cannot differentiate between the needs and the wants. And that's normally what we see. So looking, clothing, jewelry, expensive, etc. Now this is on a monthly basis. So you might look at your statement and say, hey, I didn't spend anything on clothing this month, but building a budget, we are going to put the amount that is spent for the year, breaking it down in a month. So let's say I spend $50 a month on clothing, jewelry, etc. That is going to allow me to build in about a $600 over the course of a year buffer for the amount that I'm going to spend in clothes. You can see a lot of this is going to add up, guys. Dining out, most people $100, $200, $300 a month. Gym memberships, even Planet Fitness here is $20 a month. If you get alcohol, streaming packages, you pay, let's say $15 for Disney, you pay $15 for Netflix. Well, now that's $30. Maybe you have Hulu in there, maybe you have something else. So let's say you're at $45 per month for the streaming package, which again is kind of crazy to see. How much you actually spend when you build it into your budget, it makes a big difference. So even home decor, birthday gifts, let's say, I would say on a monthly basis, let's go $100 on a monthly basis. I'm just thinking between everyone $100, that's $1,200 a year to cover birthdays, that's to cover holidays, that's to cover a lot of other things that are budgeting. And again, if you look at the items that we kind of left out, now we left out the travel expense, the movies, the concert, the event tickets. We left out dining out, and I believe dining out is probably the biggest expense that you're going to see, because I don't know up here if they carried, I think we had food in here, groceries and other essentials, $400. So that's pretty decent, I would say, looking at a budgeting aspect. And again, going through and seeing where personally you are kind of following. The total spent on wants, $215. So what does that leave for our savings and debt repayment? Looks like right now we're not really doing so. so well with our needs and wants, because essentially, if you're looking to break it down in here, so let's say 401k contributions, we put $100 in there a month just because we want to save up a little bit. Emergency fund, we don't have anything yet, so I want to make sure that we have 50 bucks in there. This also does not include any debt repayment. So we didn't include credit card debts. We didn't include, payments on the mortgage, student loan debts. So right now, looking in its entirety on what we're spending, total spent on savings and paying off debt, $150. So even here, guys, you can see needs, wants, savings, we're already in the red. Every single month we are in the red, meaning that we are going to have to cut back, because based on our income, 50% of it should go to the necessities, so $2,500. So it looks like we got to cut about $2,000 in there, which means that you have to cut a lot of different things. So minimum loan payments, internet bill, are we going to lose the phone? Are we going to go to a different package? Car payments, let's say we got rid of one of the cars, or we paid one of the cars off. Now it goes to $400, giving us a little bit more leeway kind of to work with within the budget. Maybe it is, driving a little bit less. Student loan payments, which again, we do not have. Daycare, that is the actual price of it, and they only go 1 day for my children. Association fees, which that is not a month, that is actually a year. So break that in a month, let's just say $35. There we go. So we corrected some of it, made sure everything was correct. Home maintenance and repair, we put about $100 away every single month. That way, when you have something that comes up, let's say furnace goes out, hot water heater goes out, you need gutters, you need a roof. If you own a home, guys, you have to plan for it. You have to budget for it. And that is really what I'm trying to stress by going through and kind of building this out. Even eating out, let's say we put $100 here every single month just to go out with the kids. Travel expense is another thing. So if you want to go the Great Wolf Lodge, if you want to go to Disney, if anything that you want to do, you know what, build it in here. So if we're doing, let's say $50 a month, that is going to help. Anything that I can save within this budget is going to keep me from borrowing money when it comes to time to do whatever I want to. If we're doing, an Airbnb, a VRBO, whatever it may be, I can save for a couple months, have a couple $100 to pay for the housing expense while we're not at home. Also building in the food expenses, building in everything else will make it very, very easy to see. Now, guys, like I said before, it's really important that you do this. The budget is really the basics when it comes to financial planning. Is you need to, one, know where every single dollar is going, two, know where every single dollar is coming out, how much you have bottom line so we can repay the debt, starting with the emergency savings, guys. Now, once you have a budget completed, the first goal, or really the biggest goal outside of this, guys, is not paying off debt. Now, that's a common misconception that I think a lot of people have, is they're like, oh, well, I got an extra 50 bucks, I got a raise, I got a bonus, whatever it may be. So of course that is going to go to right here. So I'm gonna put an extra $100 a month on my credit card payments, or I'm gonna put everything that I have extra into my credit cards. Let's say I have $200. First thing you need, guys, again, priority is an emergency fund. What do I mean by an emergency fund? Saving at least $1,000, putting $1,000 into this emergency fund contributions that you can see right here, guys. That is really the biggest priority. Now, the logic behind this, I know Dave Ramsey talks about it. There's a lot of different financial planners and advisors that really talk about it. The big thing is when an emergency does come up, that is truly an emergency. You are not going right to these credit cards. You are not going to lending. You are not going to loans. You are not going to other sources to borrow more money to cover any expenses that you have. You've already built enough of an emergency fund to cover the expenses that you have. That's really one of the big thought processes that I feel a lot of people need to change. For a majority of people, if you make $5,000 a month, you are spending $5,000 a month, maybe a little bit to savings, maybe a little bit to 401k. But guys, this is the number one priority. So you want to get your emergency fund to a $1,000 is the goal, guys. Once you get $1,000 in the bank, If you do have to utilize that emergency fund, let's say you take out $300 for a car repair, now it takes your balance down to $700. You want to effectively put your $1,000 back or get that balance up to $1,000 just to ensure that you do have that emergency fund. Again, that is not allowing you to go back to credit cards, to line of credits, to borrowing money that is going to cost you a lot more in the long run. So the budget, guys, very, very cool to see the breakdown. Again, this is over on NerdWallet. If you go to NerdWallet and you do the 50-30-20 plan that we kind of talked about in some of the previous videos, definitely check out this monthly budgeting worksheet. I absolutely love it over there. I actually use it with a bunch of people that I work with. It is very, very cool, and it kind of customizes it depending on where you are in life and what you're looking to do. Make sure, again, that you have your finances in order, guys. It should be one of the most important parts of your life. When I look overall at a lot of relationships, things of that nature, one of the biggest things they fight about is money. If you can set down, figure out your budget with your significant other, your partner, your spouse, whatever they may be, guys, you can go through and see and plan your life together and actually make a very, very big difference. So, all right, guys, so that'll do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about the monthly budgeting worksheet. And as always, thank you guys for watching.